NFL Week 5 is in the books. Talking Bills and Packers is back. And I didn't text you guys ahead of this week's show, but going into it, I think you both had a pretty good idea of where we're going to start today. I have a lot of things that I would like to get off my chest.
A lot of feelings.
Yes. But before we do that, DVD, we're going to go to you, and I just want your overall feelings and take and thoughts on the Green Bay Packers losing 27-22 to the New York Giants in London at 9:30 in the morning.
Well, I was sucking
Sunday.
back Caesars. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know if I have a neatly curated monologue, but my big punchline on this is that the Packers forgot how to play football. They forgot that a football game is 60 minutes and that half of it you still have to play. So it's like abysmal second half, like 17 straight points lost for them. Their defense was gassed. That was another big thing. Their defense, I think, they were the workhorse in the first half of the game, but then they were just completely gassed. They had nothing left to give. They didn't get their running backs involved until late in the game. That was a huge one, which goes to all of your comments about Rodgers being selfish with the ball. I'm like, what else did they do?
I got something to say
it's
about
like,
that.
It's like going in my head. It was like, oh God, like 2 passes knocked down. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And the Giants, at the end of it, they controlled the clock. That was it. Like, perfect.
Defense is on the field for 8 minutes in the third quarter, and you come out and you throw 3 straight bombs down the field, all 3 of which go incomplete, and then your defense that is exhausted has to come right back out on the field.
I mean, they got to use their running backs. That's it. Like, I don't know what else to say on that. They're secret weapons. They haven't used them, and I think they didn't get involved until overtime, if not the fourth quarter. Maybe that's being gracious to them. Like, it was just such a sloppy pay, and I'm happy they actually lost. It's like, you know what? I think
call.
You need to get knocked off your high horse a little bit and realize that this can't happen anymore. Like, you got to use all your weapons. And to lose to the Giants, I mean, they're not horrible this year. I think people don't give them enough credit, to be honest. But for the most part, the Giants aren't great.
Whoa. They're 4-1.
Yeah.
They are 4-1 actually now, so I take it back. So they're not horrible this year, but yeah.
And Brian Daboll is the real deal. Like,
Man,
he is the real deal.
I can't right now. That's my boy.
See,
Brian
in my
knows
mind, they
that
were
better
still
than
only
anyone.
like 3-2 or something like that. But okay, they're 4-1 now because the Packers handed them that game.
I am highly, highly concerned about the state of the Green Bay Packers. Through 5 weeks, this has not been a good football team. They have yet to put together a complete 60-minute effort. They've been a piss poor second half team in all 5 of those games offensively. There's 3 main things with the Green Bay Packers that I think are an issue and are concerning. The first one, and the biggest one in my opinion, is the defense. Yep. That defense is loaded with first and second round picks. Loaded. Going into the season, the hype for the Green Bay Packer defense was through the roof. Okay. And they've been very hit or miss and been very spotty and have been gashed by the opposing team's run game all season long. Last year, they hired Joe Barry as their defensive coordinator. A horrific hire, a guy with a no track record of being a successful defensive coordinator in the league whatsoever. He got away with it last year because the offense was so good that the defense was never in a position like it was this year, where it has been this year, where it has to prop the offense up. His schemes make no sense. He's playing zone coverage. I just keep thinking about how they're going to play Josh Allen in a few weeks in Buffalo, and like you're just going to line up on the other side of the ball in zone defense against Josh Allen. Let me know how that goes for you. Like this Joe Barry schematic is awful. Defensive players are commenting in the media about how like they don't it's the game plan. It's the game plan. It's the game plan. Matt LaFleur let it slip earlier this week that he and Joe Barry had some disagreements after the Patriots game about the defensive philosophy, which I'm sure head coaches and coordinators argue and disagree all the time. But the fact that you're going public with it and like basically admitting, like, yeah, we knew the New England Patriots had no quarterback and they were going to run the football, and for whatever reason, our defense didn't make any adjustments. And then once again this week, Saquon Barkley is just allowed to run all over with no defensive adjustments. That's the first thing and the most concerning thing. Number two, I'm going off here, guys. Cut me off.
Keep
at
going.
any point if
No,
you need to.
I don't know if I can mute your mic.
Go off,
I'm just kidding. Go off.
Number two, the coaching. This team looks completely disjointed. They're making comments about game plans after the game. The second half adjustments is entirely on coaching. The offense doesn't adjust at all. Matt LaFleur doesn't know whether he's coming or going. The dude has completely been overruled by Aaron Rodgers when it comes to offensive philosophy and play calling. Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, not Matt LaFleur. And he just looks bewildered out there. His team's getting away from him. He spent all week sulking about having to go to London and the time change and how disruptive it was, so on and so forth. And I think he's really got to pull up his socks and start focusing on having more of a winning culture in that room, because it's starting to seep into the players, as I said earlier.
Not to mention, though, too, not to cut off your monologue, but this is the first time Green Bay has ever played over an international game or overseas.
Yes.
Like, they have never had to get put through this. Every other team has to do it. Like, this is a classic, like, Aaron Rodgers, I am special move, and you are not special. You are getting paid to get over there.
And listen, I'm sure it is super disruptive. I'm sure it is. But, like, going in the media and, like, whining about it, to me, it's also the second half adjustments. It's like, why is your offense brutal in the second half through all 5 games this year? Why? I don't understand why. Number 3, Aaron Rodgers. Okay? Lots of talk about... No one is really talking about the real issue here. And it's what I've said to you guys the last few weeks on this show. This guy will not jeopardize his statistics. He won't do it. And the way their offense is set up, he's going to have to throw some 50-50 balls to some of these rookie guys like Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson and risk throwing an interception. He won't do it. Like, Randall Cobb has 13 targets. Randall Cobb has 13 targets. He should never have 13 targets. You can see when they snap the ball that he's looking for his 2 safety blankets, Cobb and Lazard, and if they're not open, he's hardly throwing the ball. Also, they run a lot of RPO plays on offense. Aaron Jones is the best player they have on offense. Aaron Jones is averaging like 2-3 yards per carry every single time he touches the ball this year, and everyone's like, why is Matt LaFleur constantly calling passing plays? He's not. Aaron Rodgers is constantly calling passing plays, and he's checking out to throw to one of his security blankets. No one is talking about this, and this is an issue I've always had with the Green Bay media and the people who cover this team on a daily business, is they bow before this man. It's so obvious. When you look at a stat line and you see Randall friggin' Cobb has 13 targets, something is very, very wrong, and it's because he will only throw to the guys that he knows are likely going to catch the ball. And listen, that's great that Randall Cobb catches the ball, but can Randall Cobb at this point in his career make an explosive play? Not really. Alan Lazard can, but the other team knows that Lazard's his other safety blanket, and he's double covered on every single friggin' play.
And Cobb was only able to get 7 of those 13 targets, too.
I was just going to say, and if you go back, which doesn't take a rocket science to do, and watch 5 weeks worth of game film now, like, it's not hard to figure out what Rodgers is going to do. So now you're just setting up every other team's defense to figure out your plays. Like, you're just not a smart football player at that point.
And
like you're just not.
You have to feel for the offensive line too, because if you're constantly going backwards instead of running the ball forwards, that's defeating as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Tom Brady. The difference between Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers is Tom Brady's goal is to win a championship. Tom Brady will go out there and he will throw the ball to a receiver and like a 50-50 ball to a receiver, because sometimes that's what you have to do to win the game. And sometimes, how many times throughout his career has Tom Brady made a brutal throw over the middle that's resulted in a pick six or whatever? Hundreds of times.
Every game.
Hundreds of times.
Every game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers will not do that because he will not jeopardize his statistics. He will not do it. So this offense, unless they go out and get another like Odell Beckham Jr. or something like that, it's only going to go so far. It's going to plateau at some point. And the controversy at the end of the game where it's 4th down, they have 2 yards to get a first down. Okay?
Yeah.
You can see it's an RPO. He has the ball in his hand and he pulls it out of Jones's hands. It's like, give the ball. You have the best 1-2 punch at running back in the entire league. And like I said earlier, Aaron Jones is the best player in your offense. Why? But that doesn't matter to him. He wants to look at his statistics and he wants to look at the game sheet at the end and see his Aaron Rodgers numbers. And that's what he wants. And
well, your statistics hug you at night, Aaron? I don't think so.
Seriously though. Like, it's true. Like,
he's just there with his papers, just being like, yes.
Yeah. It's just like, I think.
So what do you think the Packers do? Do they bow down before Aaron Rodgers and, like you said, just get some more receivers? Or do they just sit him down and be like, I don't know if you can set Aaron Rodgers down and just be like,
no, you can't.
What the hell, man? You're going to have to fix.
Yeah. If you're Gutekunst, if you're Gutekunst,
that's ridiculous. It's the only fix, though. Like in my mind, like for Rodgers, though, and being a baby,
25 targets a game. It's Cooper Kupp territory there.
If you're Gutekunst or LaFleur, you're looking at your team as currently constituted, and you know your quarterback. You know him better than anyone. Like I said, like everyone's going at Matt LaFleur about like what plays he's calling. It's like Matt LaFleur is the most neutered head coach in the NFL. He does whatever the hell his back-to-back MVP quarterback tells him to do. And you're seeing, and listen, Aaron Rodgers is great. Aaron Rodgers got Nathaniel Hackett a job in Denver, and Nathaniel Hackett is getting exposed right now for riding the coattails of Aaron Rodgers' greatness. It's true. Okay.
So do you think LaFleur is going to get fired at the end of this season?
No,
I don't. Because that's not the Packer way. Like it for them to fire McCarthy should have been fired like 3 years before he got fired. So I think how many years is Rodgers realistically going to play? Like if I'm a gambling man, I'm saying he's going to play the rest of this year and probably next year.
I say
and then that's it.
I was going to say 2 tops, though. Like we'll see how he is after next season.
So I think the Packers want to see what he's like without a Rodgers quarterback. Definitely not a Jordan Love, but without a Rodgers quarterback.
So I think you look at Aaron Rodgers and you go, he is not going to throw the ball on a regular basis to these rookie wide receivers. He's just not. So we're going to have to go and make a trade to get a high-end wide receiver and bring him in here to help with the offense and get Aaron another guy that he's going to trust throwing the ball to. And that's not Sammy Watkins.
You have to get Odell. You have to get Odell when he comes back. He's on his little college tour right now. He's visiting teams. You guys have to get Odell. Rodgers will throw to him 25 times a game.
Yes. Yeah. It's like you saw it with like I just couldn't. I'm watching that game on Sunday, and I'm like, he threw it to Randall Cobb again. Like what are we doing? And it's just so obvious, and everyone tiptoes around it, and is like, oh well, the offense will like. It's confounding. The most egregious thing I've ever seen in my life was your defense gets shredded for 8 minutes by Saquon Barkley and frickin' Daniel Jones. And you come out there after that sequence and you throw 3 bombs down the field. All 3 of them are incomplete. And your defense that is exhausted has to trot back out on the field again. What are we doing? Like, what is happening?
After he came off and almost lost to Zappy.
Yeah.
Zap. Yeah.
Billy Zappy.
Oh.
Bailey Zappy. Whatever.
I don't even know his first name. I'm like, Bobby? Bobby
and
Zappy?
Mac Jones is probably sweating. It's Big Mac versus Zappy meal.
Yeah. Zap.
The Zappy meal. Oh, that's fantastic.
I like that.
Anyways, I think there's the 2 biggest issues.
Where are they? They're at home next week against the Jets.
who just beat the Dolphins.
I was going to say, who just beat the Dolphins.
Yeah. And so the way this Packer team played, we talked about it last week, they needed overtime to beat the Zappy meal. Yeah. So it's like anybody can come in here right now. They're only, if you look at their schedule the rest of the way, the only game that I have circled where it's like that's a surefire win is the Washington Commanders. And outside of that, it's like, based on what I've seen through the first 5 weeks, this team could lose to anybody.
Yeah. Because they're at the Jets and then the Bills, or there's one in between.
I think the Commanders. I think it's the Commanders.
In between.
That's a get-right game, though. That's concerning to me before the Bills game, because that's a get-right game in the Commanders.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's... Anyways, I went off on an absolute tangent there, but it's just like, it's so obvious to me what is happening with this team. And Matt LaFleur made a bad hire in Joe Barry as the defensive coordinator, and he got away with it last year because the offense was so explosive. But this year, when we need a defense that can help pick our offense up, Joe Barry can't do it. And
you had it for a bit too. You had a defense start the year. Like what's happened?
I was pretty pumped. It was around like after week 3, it all started to fall apart after that game.
It's like LaFleur said, like, kind of blurted out this week. He was upset. Like, look no further than the Patriots game when it's like Brian Hoyer and Bailey Zappi are your 2 quarterbacks. It's like, you know what their game plan is going to be. It's going to be to run the football. Why are you lining up in zone coverage every single snap and letting it's just, and the Packers, so much has been made in the media about not drafting a high-end wide receiver. You know why they haven't drafted a high-end wide receiver? Because for however long I can remember, they've used their first and second round draft picks on a defensive player. That defense is loaded with first and second round picks. It should be way, way better than what it is. And when you have that type of high-end talent on your defense and it's performing like it did on Sunday, that's coaching. That's coaching.
Not to mention, I don't even know what their cap room is, because part of the reason why I loved Brady is he used to take salary cuts to free up cap room. I don't see Rodgers doing that anytime soon. He did that.
Soon. Well, that's why their team is constructed the way it is, because Rodgers took $50 million and it dug into their cap.
Yeah.
And
he will not be like, you know what? Let me give this back. You could get somebody else.
He doesn't have. I think Rodgers deserves 99% of the criticism that he gets, but at the end, the guy's a competitor, and I won't take that away from him. But I'm sorry, like I've watched him his whole career, and it's like he cares so much about his like touchdown to interception ratio. Like that's something he hangs his hat on so much, right? And he's not going to put the ball in. I protect the football. I've heard him say that 100 times. He's not going to put the ball in harm's way. And when you have a rookie wide receiver like Romeo Doubs who can fly, but he's a rookie, when you throw the ball to him, you're taking a risk. And he's just like, I don't care. I'm not taking those risks. I'm not doing it.
Which is sad, because that's how you win championships.
Yes.
Sorry, like you're not going to win that way. Like he did. He threw no interceptions in the game, 222 yards. Nothing great.
Yes, I know. Anyways, it's just he's been criticized a lot for his intangibles, his tangibles versus his intangibles, and like you see it now. Like he just doesn't have. Anytime the going, I told you too, he's a front runner. Like when it starts to get tough, he wilts. We've seen it time and time again. It's just, good Lord. Anyways, Brian's Buffalo Bills whooped the Steelers' ass.
Yeah, I was like, is there much to talk about on that one? Steelers are garbage.
The Steelers are probably the worst team in the league. Like, that was embarrassing. I feel bad for Kenny Pickett. Like, he made some decent looking throws, but like Matt Canada, you want to talk about a bad coordinator? That guy is probably the worst coordinator I've ever seen scheme a game.
Canada.
Good for him.
I was listening to a pod.
No association with Canada.
No, he's not Canadian.
No.
Okay, perfect. We don't want to claim this man.
He just loves Canada. I was listening to a pod yesterday that was saying that it's time for the Steelers to embrace the tank.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe fire Tomlin. I know that's not the Steelers' way, but like they've had since 1969. I read this today. They've had 3 head coaches in total.
Yeah.
Which is quite shocking in the in the Super Bowl era.
I'm pretty sure I said it last year too, and I'll say it again. But Tomlin, I don't think he can control the locker room. Maybe now so because he's got some rookie people in there, but I don't think he has. He wants to be your buddy. He doesn't want to be your coach.
That being said, like, how did he control AB for all those years? Like that.
I don't think he did.
Probably true. That man deserves a Medal of Honor.
Yeah, it probably broke him to the point he is now. But like having him and Le'Veon Bell, remember that battle they had going on? Yeah. Jesus.
I just look at the Steelers and I think, like the NFL is an off, like look what's happened to the Dolphins since Tua's gone. They lost to the Jets.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, right? Like they're not the same team. And it's like, if you don't have a guy who can competently play quarterback, and maybe Kenny Pickett.
I'm gonna start calling him
Picky.
That now. Kenny Picky?
Kenny
the
Picky
man.
Maybe the pickster. Maybe Kenny Pickett will be that one day, but like right now, it's like if your options at quarterback are Mitch Trubisky and a rookie Kenny Pickett, you're not going to win very many games.
No, it made no difference. I think the real problem is their scheme, because it seems like they do the same thing every year. They run the ball to middle with no offensive line. They run the receivers straight down the sideline. Nothing really changes. So I think there's more of a scheme problem.
It's also a league, like Tomlin's a defensive head coach, and this is a league where if you, like most of the teams that are successful have offensive head coaches.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be a team that hires a defensive head coach, you might as well, I hope you have like a damn good offensive coordinator to complement your defensive head coach.
Yeah.
But let me just touch on rookie receivers for a moment here, because it's been a talk about the show.
Brian.
Khalil Shakiri, that guy was unbelievable. Like only 3 catches, but like his first catch, it looked like he floated through the air to get that ball. It was like three defenders around him. He just pops up out of the middle and just catches it out of the air. It was really nice to see. Gabe Davis had the Randy Moss stat line: 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, 171 yards.
Yeah,
that's just that opening drive, 98-yard touchdown. Like, I feel bad for my neighbors on that. Like, that was a really exciting moment in the Chalk House.
Can I tell you something, Brian? You just commented Khalil. How do you say his name? Is it Shakir?
Shakir. Yeah, Shakir.
He made some really great catches.
Yeah.
You know why he made those great catches? Because Josh Allen threw him the ball.
Yeah, he threw to some people I've never even heard of today. So it was nice to see.
So Josh Allen is not going to rock his stats to sleep that night.
Josh Allen doesn't go to sleep at night and giggle at his stat line.
He can throw 4 interceptions and still dominate a game. Like, he threw 1 today, but he takes chances. That's why I love Josh Allen. He's just let's get a controller out sometimes. We'll mash those buttons and we'll make it happen.
Yes. And that's why we all love him. Like, it's just, my God. And guess what?
Well, because he has nothing to lose, and that's that's how he plays.
Well,
and that's how
it's a lot of pressure this year for the Bills. Like, he does have something to prove, at least, and like he is showing that it doesn't matter. I'm here to win. He's a football player.
That's the thing. He's here to win, and it's like he probably thought, he's like, I'm playing against the Steelers. Like, let's see how this goes today.
Brian, I don't know if I buy that. It's a lot of pressure on the Bills. I don't know if there's a ton of pressure on Josh Allen, because I think already through week 5, the narrative around the Bills is they rely too much on him. He's never, if they lose this year, it'll be he's never had a proper running back or like properly constructed running game. Like, imagine this guy. Imagine if you guys had like an Aaron Jones or an AJ Dillon in your offense, like what it would do to,
or a Christian McCaffrey.
The Bill. Or Christian McCaffrey. Yes. I saw that the other day, and I was like, holy, yep.
If that happens, like, Grant, he does have injury issues, but to have him for, 2 playoff games, unbelievable.
We saw last night on Monday Night Football that the Kansas City Chiefs can be had. They ended up coming back and winning the game last night. But yep.
That hurt me, too. I bet them minus 8.5, and that was a disaster.
I was in like a weekly suicide pool. It's just like pick the winner, and then for the Monday night game, you had to pick the score. I said the Kansas City Chiefs were going to win like 32-9. Boy, was I wrong. Everyone's like, that's an asshole move against the Raiders.
I was like, only 8.5 points? No problem, Chiefs.
Yeah.
You were sitting there when the Raiders went up 14-0, and you were like, oh boy.
But even still, at that point,
so much for the 3 field goals I thought they'd get.
I was like, the Chiefs can score points in 12 seconds. We're all good. Like, I wasn't worried until about the fourth quarter, and I was like, what the fuck is happening right
now? Since I ban us from picking a Packers or Bills game in our next week preview, let's take a minute and talk about this Sunday's matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs. It always seems to be at Arrowhead.
Which is, I don't know why, the NFL always does this. It's like they do favor the Chiefs. I don't know, they get the right calls when we play them. I don't know.
Yeah.
It always feels as a Bills fan that you're getting sort of, you're getting screwed. I don't want to, accuse them of that, but it seems like it's all favored to KC. Let's have a game at Orchard Park,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good one. I was looking at the schedule and I was like, damn it, I can't pick that game. But
I know they have loud fans. Bills Mafia is way louder. So I would just love to hear that.
Are we going to get a repeat of around this time last year where the Bills pumped the Chiefs? And it was Sunday Night Football on Canadian Thanksgiving last year, I believe.
Yeah, it was. That was a great night.
I think it's going to be close. I don't know, Brian. I don't know what you're thinking, but I don't think they're going to pump them this year.
What I really want, and it pains me to say, is I want a tough loss for the Bills because you know what happens after that. They're just going to go crazy, especially if it's to the Chiefs. So I feel like they're riding high right now, 38-3. That's pretty impressive. You want a team. That's great. Let's not assume that's going to happen all the time. Like, honestly, like I do want to win. You know what I mean, though. Yeah. Like, I want them to at least earn that win in a desperate way, like down to the last second. Let's score some points in 12 seconds. Let's do it that way, and we'll win that game.
Yeah. Before we do our Week 6 selections, I wanted to get your guys' take on what's happening with roughing the passer in the league right now. Like, it's very clear that the NFL is sensitive after what happened to Tua a few weeks ago.
Put that one on Brady. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a little ridiculous. Brady's response was classic, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't blame him for that one.
Yeah.
I don't blame him for that. He doesn't.
Yeah. And I just feel like every year in the NFL, there's always some sort of controversy with like what's happening in the game. And it's clear that like the roughing the passer issue is at the focal point now. And I feel like the problem is it's kind of like the issue with like, is it a catch or is it not a catch? Like there's so much gray, right?
Yeah.
And like it happens in 2 seconds. These guys are flying. Like you have to play football with a bit of passion. You know what I mean? Like it's really hard to let up when you're as soon as you're making a tackle. Like
you can't. No, my dad had a hot take. He's like, there will be a time in the NFL where you won't be able to sack the quarterback. Like you have to go and touch them. He's like, that was his hot take of the evening after that roughing the passer call.
I hate that.
There was a
so do I, but I think it's I don't disagree.
I don't like it either, but it will help prevent games where, like, could you imagine, knock on wood, could you imagine you've got Bills Chiefs at 4:25 this Sunday and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes were both injured?
Yeah, that would be horrible.
Yeah, or you've got Cowboys Eagles on Sunday night and Jalen Hurts is hurt. And the greatest quarterback of all time, Cooper Rush, is also hurt. That
would be a disaster.
Yeah,
I never want to see the Cowboys without Cooper Rush again.
Yeah, so it's like it's on the one hand, it's like, yes, it sucks because football is all about big hits, but at the same time, it's like the quarterbacks are the main draw, and your interest in watching the product goes down significantly when the star quarterbacks are not in there throwing the ball. So if it's if it's an investment in having the best quarterbacks in the world out there, then I'll deal with it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why Brady was able to stay also in the league so long. He had such a great line in New England. Like the guy was never hurt. He had like that one shoulder injury one year, and
he's always been really good at protecting himself too. Like he knows when the pocket's collapsing, and you can see him like get down and like protect himself. He's always been so good at that.
And he's like deceptively fast in the pocket too, which is why he's so good at that.
Yep. Okay, friends, let's do week 6 game selections. DVD, we will start with you.
Oh, I went first last week, but I have 2. Since you mentioned it, I'm gonna go Cowboys Eagles.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's on all 3 of our lists.
Yeah.
All 3 of our lists.
And prime time.
Let's just talk about that
and
for a
prime
second.
Time. Yeah, and Cooper Rush and the Eagles.
Game.
That's a
huge game. Yeah,
it's a big game.
That's a huge game. That's like the Eagles are right now. A lot of people look at them as the best team in football. I think the Bills are the best team in football, but the Eagles have the best record.
Yep.
And you got the Cowboys, who have been lights out since Cooper Rush took over, and they're a huge divisional rivalry. Like that's
the thing.
Big game.
The Cowboys are clicking right now, so I feel like they could be the ones to take the Eagles down.
And the AFC Beast is so back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, the NFC East.
Oh, sorry, the NFC.
Yes.
The NFC Beast.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so bad because you're right. The Giants. I don't think the Giants are as good as the Cowboys or the Eagles, but they're good.
No, they're a little underrated. I guess.
The Commanders are just a disaster, which I love seeing Carson Wentz in that situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What's your second game, DVD?
Probably one that Brian's going to pick, so I'm going to leave it to Brian to go next.
Okay. I was going with the Ravens and Giants.
Oh, I was going to go Saints Bengals. Okay.
Nice.
Ravens and Giants are good.
I want to see what the Giants, if they can continue this crazy streak they're on. I want to see more Wildcat. Like I just love these like college type plays that Dable's been running. You got to do what you got to do with what you got. But I think Saquon got banged up at the end of that last game, so hopefully he can play because it's been exciting watching him this year. It's nice to see Saquon like back in this type of form.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys took all the good ones. I mean, I could look at Vikings and Dolphins maybe, but with no Tua, not quite. So I'm going to put a different spin on this. A lot of people look at last Thursday's game between the Colts and the Broncos as the worst football game in the history of the league. I think the Bears and Commanders this week on Thursday Night Football has a chance to challenge that game as the worst football game in the history of the league.
It's going to be the lowest amount of passes ever in a football game.
Did you see Ron Rivera just run the Carson Wentz over with the bus yesterday?
He straight up said our quarterback is the problem.
Yes. Like those words exited his mouth.
Which is, imagine being Carson Wentz, hearing that, you're like, God damn it.
Right? But then going to like the locker room like the next day and it's like, hey Carson, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. Sorry about what I said. It's the heat of the moment.
And like Justin Fields has just been a disaster.
Oh, the Bears. Yeah, but the Bears, like, they're a weird team, man. Like, I don't think they're a very good team, but they and Justin Fields has no idea what he's doing.
But he has moments.
Yeah, and like the Vikings like went up like by like 2-3 scores on Sunday, and then the Bears came storming right back, and the Vikings had to hold on.
And like I saw some throws that I was like, can you like where is that throw in the first quarter? Like his throws are sporadic, and all of a sudden a dime, and you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
It's honestly, when you look at it, like I thought this past Sunday was pretty marginal in terms of game quality. Like there weren't like the 2 4 o'clock games of the Eagles and Cardinals and the Cowboys and Rams was good, and then the Sunday night and Monday night games were good, but like some of the 1 o'clock games just weren't doing it for me. But when you look at this week, it's like you've got Chiefs and Bills at 4:25, followed by Cowboys and Eagles at 8:30. That's pretty damn good.
Like I just can't believe Bills and Chiefs is not prime time. That's a little shocking to me.
Brian, I've always maintained that I'm a huge fan of the 4:25 slot. That's the best slot of the day.
That's a good slot. That's a good tailgating slot too.
Yes, it is.
Of the gambling day. But you'd think the NFL would want this game prime. I know the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They have all of America, blah, blah, blah. This is like the biggest game of the weekend.
I wouldn't be surprised because I know CBS has like first rights to AFC games. So I wouldn't be surprised. Like Nance and Romo will for sure be doing that game.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if CBS looked at that on the schedule and was like, that's a 425 for us.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. That's a good point.
Yep. All right, my friends, we will soldier on to week 6 and we'll see what it has in store for us.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Yeah, I really hope I'm in a better mood when we jump on here next week.
I think you will be.
I'm optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic.
The Jets are riding too high right now. We can't have that in the AFCs, man. Bring them down, please.
Yeah, I hope so. But also, like, the Jets are coached by Robert Saleh, and who's the Jets' offensive coordinator? Mike LaFleur, brother of Matt. Yeah. Like, Robert Saleh defensively has always had Matt LaFleur's number. So it's, I don't know. I'm
rooting for you guys. I'm rooting for you guys.
Likewise, Brian. Godspeed with that one.
Godspeed, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Your matchup on Sunday is way more interesting than ours.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'm
everybody.
gonna blindly bet the Bills. Sorry about that. I said to
no problem. I'm just doing my usual.
Like, I just gotta get this last thing in.
Brian's like, listen, Rob, cool it on the outro for a second.
I'm blindly betting the Bills.
There you go.
Thanks, everybody, for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button below. Spread the word. Tell your friends. We really appreciate it. If you're listening to the audio version, leave a comment, leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you guys next week.